Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into some pretty heavy source material notes and articles about a really disturbing figure from German history.
Yeah, it's difficult stuff. We're looking at Joachim Kroll. The goal here is to really unpack these sources, figure out the key details about who he was and, well, the sheer horror of his crimes.
And those nicknames the material mentions right off the bat, Ruhr Cannibal, Duisburg Maneater, they really set the scene, don't they?
They absolutely do. It tells you exactly what we're dealing with here. Grim.
Okay, so let's start with the basics, ground ourselves a bit. The sources give his birth date, Joachim Kroll, April 17th, 1933, in Hindenburg.
Right. And he died much later, July 1st, 1991, in prison, aged 58.
The background details are brief, but informative. Son of a miner, one of 9 kids, sixth, I think.
6 of 9, yeah. And the family moved after World War II to North Rhine-Westphalia.
Crucially, the material seems to link the start of his killing spree to 1955.
Right after his mother passed away. That's presented as a sort of trigger point, it seems.
And it's strange because you read this, and he wasn't exactly, living off the grid.
No, not at all. The sources list jobs he had. Lavatory attendant for management, initially.
Then later, after moving to Duisburg, he worked for Thyssen Industries. So, like, regular employment.
Exactly. Holding down jobs. It's that contrast, isn't it? The
Yeah.
sort of mundane surface and the horror underneath.
And that hidden horror went on for a terrifyingly long time. The known activity, according to these sources, starts February 8, 1955.
And runs right through until July 3, 1976. That's, what, over 21 years?
Just over 2 decades.
Yeah.
Incredible. And the scale. Convicted of 8 murders, 1 attempted murder.
But he confessed to more, didn't he?
Yeah, the sources say he confessed to 14 murders in total.
14. Wow.
The list of victims in this material,
Yeah.
it's just awful to read through. Different ages, different circumstances. But there are these horrific patterns that jump out.
Definitely. The first one mentioned is 1955 Irmgard Striel, 19 years old, disemboweled, found in a barn. Then Erika Schuletter, 12 years old, in 56, raped and strangled. And then jump forward a bit to 1959, Klarfrieda Tesmer, 24, found near the Rhine Meadows.
And this is one of those cases with a tragic ripple effect.
Exactly. The sources highlight that a mechanic, Heinrich Ott, was arrested for her murder. He committed suicide in jail. Innocent.
God, that's awful. And the same year, 59, Manuela Ott, 16 years old, killed in Essen City Park.
And this is where the material introduces that deeply disturbing detail. Slices of flesh.
Yeah, carved from her buttocks and thighs. It's just chilling.
And it wasn't a one-off. 1962, Monica Tafel, 12 years old, killed in Walsum. And again, the sources are explicit. Slices of flesh carved from her buttocks.
So this cannibalism aspect is right there in the pattern.
The horrifying thread, yes. And sadly, the false accusations continued too.
Also in 62, Petra Gies, 13 years old, a man named Vinzenz Kuhn was arrested, even convicted for it.
Right. And for Monica Tafel's murder, Walter Quicker was arrested. He was released, but then, the sources say, neighbors just hounded him.
To the point of suicide.
Drove him to suicide months later. Yeah, it's just layers of tragedy on top of Kroll's actions.
The list just keeps going. Barbara Bruder, 12, also 1962. Her body was never found.
Then an attack in 65, Hermann Schmitz, 25, and his girlfriend Marion Veen. The source just says attacked.
Yep.
1966, Ursula Rolling, 20, strangled. And again,
Someone else accused.
her boyfriend, Adolf Schickel, committed suicide after being falsely accused.
That's unbelievable.
Later in 66, Alona Hark, just 5 years old, raped and drowned.
Oh, God.
1969, Maria Hetgen, 61, raped and strangled. Then 1970, Judah Rahn, 13.
And another false accusation.
Peter Shea, arrested, released, but then confessed in 1976, apparently after being relentlessly hounded too. It's a recurring nightmare.
Right up to the end, pretty much.
Right.
May 1976, Corinne Topfer, 10 years old, raped and strangled.
And then finally, July 3, 1976, Marion Ketter, 4 years old, the crime that finally led them to him.
So with this incredibly long list, spanning decades, the obvious question the sources raise is, how? How did he avoid getting caught for so long?
Well, the material offers a few points. His method. Apparently, he surprised victims, strangled them quickly.
Okay, so opportunistic and fast.
Seems like it. And he was careful about location, rarely hitting the same spot twice. That definitely helped him evade detection.
Right. Harder to establish a pattern in one specific area.
Exactly. Plus, The sources note something important. There were other violent crimes, even other killers operating in the same region during parts of that period.
Ah, so that could have muddied the waters for investigators.
Plausibly, yeah. It could have obscured his specific trail among other incidents.
And then the things he did after the murders. The sources are pretty graphic.
They are. Stripping the body, intercourse, masturbation over the victim. It's incredibly disturbing.
And the detail that earned him those nicknames. The mutilation.
Cutting off pieces to be eaten later. That's explicitly stated.
And the sources even mention what he did when he got home.
Yes, intercourse with a rubber sex doll. It paints this picture of just profound disturbance intertwined with these acts of violence and cannibalism.
Which brings us to how it all ended. July 3, 1976. The sources describe the capture with such specific, almost surreal detail.
It's quite something. The police were going door to door. They were investigating the disappearance of little Marion Ketter, the 4-year-old.
Standard procedure, checking the area.
Right. And then a neighbor in Kroll's apartment building flags down an officer. He's complaining about a blocked drain pipe, a waste pipe.
Okay, a plumbing issue. Seems unrelated.
Exactly. But this neighbor had asked Kroll about it. And Kroll's answer, just one word.
What did he say?
Guts.
He just said, guts.
That's what the sources report. Guts.
Wow. Okay, so the neighbor tells the police this.
Tells the officer, yeah. And based on that incredibly chilling, bizarre tip, they go to Kroll's apartment.
And inside.
The scene described is just absolute horror. Marion Ketter's body, dismembered, parts in the refrigerator.
Oh my God.
A small hand, boiling in a pot of water on the stove.
Boiling.
And entrails, yes, found blocking that waste pipe the neighbor complained about.
So the neighbor was literally right. Just unbelievable.
Completely. And obviously he was arrested immediately. Right there.
Faced with, well, everything they found. Did he confess quickly?
He did. Confessed to killing Marion Ketter straight away. And then, according to the sources, he just started providing details for 13 other murders, plus that one attempted murder, spanning the whole 2 decades.
And the motive, for the cannibalism part specifically.
Yeah.
The sources mention something extraordinary.
It's almost grotesquely mundane, isn't it?
Yeah.
He claimed it was to save money on groceries.
To save on grocery bills.
That's the stated reason in the material. It's such a bizarre, almost banal explanation for something so monstrous. That disconnect is really jarring.
It really is. And his state of mind in custody. Did he understand the severity?
Apparently not, or he had a very warped view. The sources mention he seemed quite detached, reportedly believing he'd just get, like, a simple operation.
An operation?
Yeah, an operation to cure him of his urges, and then he thought he'd be released.
That suggests a complete break from reality, doesn't it?
It certainly raises questions about his perception of what he'd done and what was happening.
So, the legal process. He was charged with 8 murders and the 1 attempted murder, despite confessing to more.
Right. And the trial was long. Took 151 days, the sources say.
He was eventually convicted.
Yes, April 8th, 1982. Convicted on all 8 counts of murder. Sentenced to life imprisonment for each one.
And he died in prison.
He did. July 1st, 1991. Died of a heart attack.
Looking back over all this material,
Mm-hmm.
it's the sheer length of time he was active and the range of victims, little kids, older women, young adults. It's just deeply unsettling.
Profoundly so. Decades of hidden terror.
And those final details leading to his arrest, the blocked pipe, the neighbor happening to mention it, Kroll's casual, chilling word, guts. It feels so random, like pure chance finally brought it to light.
It really does. A twist of fate after 20 years.
So when you consider those specific, almost unbelievable details, the pipe, the neighbor, the scene they found, what does this case really tell you? About how, I don't know, ordinary life can sometimes hide these unimaginable horrors right beneath the surface.
Yeah, and maybe about the role that pure chance plays in uncovering darkness like that. After it's been hidden for so long, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Subscribe for more.